You've been lied to about what it takes to survive winter. Right now, thousands of people are sleeping warmer than you tonight, in metal boxes on wheels. The disturbing part? They're using a principle your home was specifically designed to prevent. A used cargo van costs between $3,000 and $8,000. That's roughly 2 months' rent in most American cities. 2 months. Let that sink in. The 2008 housing crash didn't just tank the economy, it pushed thousands of working adults into their vehicles overnight. One day you're signing lease renewals, the next you're Googling how to sleep in a Ford E-Series. I remember watching my neighbor, a guy who worked at the same company for 15 years, load his mattress into a white van. He wasn't unemployed, just priced out. Here's what surprises most people. Vans aren't chosen because they're romantic or adventurous. They're chosen because they're invisible. An RV screams, "I live here." A white cargo van? That's just Dave the plumber finishing a late job. Nobody calls the cops on Dave. And unlike tent camping, a van gives you something precious. A lockable door, protection from rain, snow, and the guy who wants your shoes at 3 a.m. Some mail services even let you use their address, so technically you have a home for job applications. But wait, aren't most van dwellers just people who don't want to work? Nope. An estimated 50% hold jobs. They clock in, clock out, then drive to a Walmart parking lot to sleep. The math simply doesn't work anymore. Minimum wage times 40 hours equals an apartment you can't afford, plus utilities you can't pay, plus food you won't eat. The fastest growing group living this way? Seniors on fixed Social Security incomes. Your grandmother's generation. People who did everything right and still ended up sleeping in a vehicle. So how do you actually pick a van that won't become a freezing metal coffin? Not all vans are created equal, and picking the wrong one? That mistake could cost you everything. Here's what experienced van dwellers know. The Ford E-Series sits at the top of most lists because it offers 6 feet of standing room inside. That matters more than you'd think. Try crouching for 20 minutes while getting dressed. Your back will file a formal complaint. But here's the real secret nobody talks about. White vans win every time. Why? They look like contractor vehicles, plumber vans, electrician vans, the kind of vehicles that belong parked anywhere. Police drive right past them without a second glance. A bright red van with custom wheels? That's practically a neon sign screaming, "Come investigate me." Now, about engines. High-mileage diesels get picked over low-mileage gas engines almost always. Sounds backwards, right? Well, diesel engines routinely hit 300,000 miles with basic oil changes. A gas engine at 150,000 is already middle-aged. A diesel at that mileage is just getting warmed up. Then there's the window situation. Windowless panel vans beat passenger vans every single time. Fewer windows means better insulation, more privacy, less condensation problems. Each window is basically a hole in your wall that lets heat escape. I've seen people choose vans with sliding doors because they look convenient. Big mistake. Those sliding mechanisms break constantly. And when they do, you've got a gap letting cold air pour in like an unwanted house guest who won't leave. The absolute deal breaker, though, rust on the frame. Not the body, the frame. Surface rust on doors can be managed, but structural rust underneath means that van could literally collapse while you're sleeping inside it. Speaking of staying alive, insulation determines whether your van feels like a refrigerator or a cocoon. Here's the wrap covered in tin foil, and it costs about $1 per square foot. Van dwellers staple it to every single surface inside. Walls, ceiling, even the doors. The foil reflects your body heat right back at you instead of letting it escape through the metal. But Reflectix alone won't save you from a Minnesota winter. That's where wool blankets come in. $15 at any thrift store gets you enough to cover one wall, hang them everywhere. They trap air pockets, dampen sound, and make your van feel less like a crime scene from a detective show. Now here's something most people get wrong. They insulate the walls first. Big mistake. Cold ground steals heat way faster than cold air does. Your floor needs insulation before anything else. I learned this the hard way during one very long night in Colorado. Windows are another problem entirely. Glass is basically a hole in your insulation. The solution? Foam board cut to fit each window, covered with black fabric on the outside. From the street, the van looks empty. From inside, you've just eliminated your biggest heat leak. Professional van builders use expensive spray foam for everything. Homeless dwellers, they achieve nearly identical results using free cardboard from grocery stores. Layer it thick enough, and cardboard performs surprisingly well. The payoff for all this work is significant. A properly insulated van stays 30 degrees warmer than outside temperature using nothing but your own body heat. But insulation only slows heat loss. What happens when that's not enough? Now here's where van living gets dangerous. And I'm not talking about parking in the wrong neighborhood. Heat sources inside a metal box can kill you faster than the cold ever would. A few months ago, I had no idea what a health ring even was until my wife got me one, and I have to say I'm shocked this isn't a widely known and used product. It tracks my stress levels, and what I found out is that some supplements made my stress score spike while others actually helped bring it down. I adjusted a few things based on that, and honestly, I feel 10 years younger. My wife mainly uses it to track her menstrual cycles, and she is obsessed with her sleep quality score. I noticed they are currently running a limited 69% discount, but I don't know how long it will last. It's currently only $60, and it's clear. This one is the best bang for your buck, with other health rings priced around $350 with less functions. They managed to price it this low because they cut out the middleman like Amazon, Walmart, etc., who drive up the price and take a big margin, ending up with the customer paying 3 to 5 times more. If you are on TV, you can check it out yourself by pausing the video and scanning the QR code with your phone camera or clicking the first link in the description of this video. Mr. Buddy propane heaters dominate the van dwelling world for good reason. They burn clean enough for indoor use, produce serious warmth, and cost around $40 at any hardware store. But here's the catch. Indoor safe doesn't mean seal yourself in a tin can and blast it all night safe. Carbon monoxide detectors are non-negotiable. Mount them at sleeping height, not near the ceiling. Why? Carbon monoxide weighs almost exactly the same as regular air. It doesn't rise like smoke. It just hovers right where your face is while you're dreaming about affordable rent. Then there's the Chinese diesel heater revolution. These $150 units tap directly into the van's fuel tank and pump heat all night long for literal pennies. Some van dwellers call them life changers. Others call them fire starters. The difference usually comes down to proper installation. Electric blankets offer the safest option. Plug one into a small battery system and you're warm without any combustion happening inside your bedroom. My neighbor's cat sleeps on an electric blanket. That cat is smarter than most of us. The 1-inch rule saves lives. Crack a window 1 inch while running any heater. You won't lose much warmth, but you will keep breathing until morning. Kerosene heaters? Hard pass. They dump moisture into the air like a humidifier on steroids. 2 weeks later, you've got black mold growing behind your insulation. Your van starts smelling like a forgotten gym locker. Speaking of things that need proper setup, your bed platform matters more than you'd think. Now you've got insulation and heat. But here's a question nobody asks until their back gives out. Where exactly are you sleeping? Most van dwellers build platform beds about 18 inches off the floor. Not for comfort, for storage. That space underneath holds everything you own. Clothes, canned food, tools, extra blankets. Your bedroom is also your closet, pantry, and garage. Here's a trick that took me way too long to figure out. A full-size mattress doesn't fit most vans, but cut 6 inches off the length. Suddenly it slides right in with room for a small walkway. Mattress stores throw away perfectly good foam that's been returned. Just ask. Memory foam feels luxurious. There's a catch, though. It pulls moisture from your body while you sleep. Stick it directly on plywood and you'll wake up to mold within weeks. The solution? Drill ventilation holes throughout the platform. Dozens of them. Air circulation saves your mattress and your lungs. Sleeping bags beat blankets every single time. A bag rated for 20 degrees Fahrenheit weighs maybe 3 pounds. To match that warmth with blankets, you'd need a stack heavy enough to pin you down like a weighted therapy session you didn't consent to. And here's water bottles. Fill one at any gas station bathroom, tuck it by your feet, and you've got 6 hours of free warmth. My grandmother did this in 1952. Still works. A comfortable bed matters more than you'd think, because when you can actually sleep, everything else becomes manageable. Speaking of managing the basics, let's talk about something trickier. Where do you actually park this thing? Finding a good van means nothing if you get towed at 2 in the morning. Trust me, waking up on a flatbed is not the alarm clock you want. Walmart parking lots remain the gold standard. About 70% of locations allow overnight stays, though individual managers can shut that down. The trick? Park near the RVs if any are there. Safety in numbers. But here's what most people miss. Hospital parking structures are basically invisible. Security exists, but they're watching for different problems. Nobody questions a van in a hospital lot. People sleep in their cars waiting for family members all the time. You blend right in, plus those cameras actually protect your vehicle from break-ins. Industrial areas, ghost towns after 6 p.m. Warehouses, manufacturing plants, business parks, workers leave, you arrive. Simple as that. Just be gone before the morning shift shows up with their coffee and questions. Now the real secret. Rotation. 5 to 7 spots. Minimum. Never the same place twice in 1 week. Neighbors notice patterns faster than you'd think. That white van parked every Tuesday night? Someone's calling the cops by week 3. Timing matters more than location sometimes. Arrive after 10 p.m. Leave before 7 a.m. Most neighborhood watch types are asleep during those windows. You're basically a ghost with wheels. And this surprised me. Churches often say yes when you just ask. Show up to a Sunday service, introduce yourself to the pastor, explain your situation. Many congregations consider it ministry. One guy I knew got permission at 3 different churches. He rotated between them and never had a problem. The parking game takes practice, but master it, and you've got something priceless: consistent sleep. Speaking of consistency, there's one problem van dwellers dread discussing: the bathroom situation. And honestly, the solutions are smarter than you'd expect. Let's talk about the thing nobody wants to bring up: the bathroom situation. Because you can insulate your van perfectly. You can install the best heater money can buy, but eventually, nature calls. And at 3 in the morning, it's calling collect. The 5-gallon bucket toilet sounds gross until you actually use one. Line it with a trash bag, throw in some kitty litter, and you've got a functional toilet that handles nighttime emergencies without forcing you outside in freezing weather. Change the bag daily, problem solved. My grandfather would say it's like an outhouse that comes to you. Progress, folks. But here's where it gets interesting. Planet Fitness memberships cost $25 monthly and provide unlimited showers at thousands of locations across the country. That's less than $1 a day for hot water, mirrors, and actual toilets. Some van dwellers hit the gym at 6 a.m., shower, then head to work. Nobody suspects a thing. Truck stops work too. Showers run $12 to $15, but here's a hack that seasoned van dwellers swear by. Buy diesel fuel, and many stations throw in a free shower credit. Fill up your tank and your hygiene needs simultaneously. Between showers, baby wipes become your best friend. 2 or 3 daily handles of full-body cleanup. Veterans of van life call it a bird bath in a package. And let's not forget public libraries. Free restrooms, climate control, Wi-Fi, they're basically community centers that happen to have books. Composting toilets using peat moss represent the premium option. They eliminate odor within hours and only need emptying every few weeks. Sounds fancy for homeless living, but they actually cost less than 3 months of gym memberships. Now, a working bathroom setup means nothing if you can't cook a decent meal. Here's the thing about cooking in a van. You've got about 20 square feet of total space. That's smaller than most bathrooms, and somehow you need to make actual meals. Single-burner butane stoves changed everything for van dwellers. $20 at any Asian grocery store. One $2 fuel canister lasts 8 hours of cooking. My grandmother's kitchen had 6 burners, and she still complained. Van dwellers make it work with one, but here's the rule: nobody breaks. Cooking happens with both doors wide open, always. Grease buildup inside an enclosed van turns walls sticky within weeks. And fire risk in a space filled with blankets and foam insulation? That's not a risk. That's a guarantee waiting to happen. Canned foods become your best friend for a different reason. No refrigeration needed. And during stealth situations, when you can't open doors or make noise, cold Chef Boyardee straight from the can. Not glamorous, but neither is starving. Now, what about keeping things cold? A small cooler with frozen water bottles provides 3 days of refrigeration between ice refills. Gas stations sell ice for $2, cheaper than any mini fridge, and it doesn't drain your battery. The real money saver is rice and beans. Complete protein for under $1 per meal when bought in bulk. Boring? Sure, but you know what's more boring? Being hungry. And this is clever. Many van dwellers hit up soup kitchens not just for one meal, but to prep food for days. Get 3 containers of stew, store them in your cooler, eat like a king all week. Resourceful thinking, not charity dependence. Of course, all this cooking and eating creates another challenge. You need electricity for lights, you need to charge phones, and you definitely can't run an extension cord to nowhere. Power. That's the one thing separating survival from misery. Deep cycle marine batteries are the workhorses here, not car batteries. See, car batteries dump all their power at once to start an engine. Marine batteries release energy slowly over days. One good one costs around $150 and stores enough juice to charge phones and run LED lights for 5 days straight, without driving a single mile. Now here's where it gets clever. Solar panels mounted flat on the roof generate roughly 100 watts daily. That's enough for basic electronics, and nobody even notices they're up there. The panel just looks like a roof vent from street level. But what happens when both batteries are connected? Disaster. You charge your phone all night, wake up, and the van won't start. Dead. In a Walmart parking lot. At 6 a.m. with security walking towards you. Battery isolators prevent this nightmare. They let the alternator charge both batteries while driving, then completely disconnect them when the engine stops. Your house battery can drain to zero, and the starting battery stays full. Costs about $40, worth every penny. Let's talk about light. USB-powered LED strips use less electricity than a single phone charger. I'm not exaggerating. You could light your entire van for 8 hours on the same power it takes to charge an iPhone twice. Public libraries, they're basically free charging stations that also happen to have books and air conditioning. During winter, van dwellers spend entire afternoons there, charging everything they own. And here's a trick for cloudy weeks. Running the engine 30 minutes daily keeps both batteries healthy. Just park somewhere safe, read a book, and let the alternator do its job. But all this power means nothing if someone steals your van while you're sleeping. Living in a van means everything you own sits in one metal box. And that box, it's a target. Here's the first line of defense. A $30 steering wheel club. Looks old school, almost embarrassing. But thieves want easy jobs. They see that bright red chunk of metal, they move on to the next car. Works like a scarecrow for criminals. Kill switches take things further. A hidden toggle under the dashboard cuts power to the ignition. Someone smashes your window, jams a screwdriver in there, nothing happens. The van just sits there like a confused teenager trying to start a lawnmower. Beautiful. Now, motion sensor lights might sound fancy, but we're talking about $10 devices from any hardware store. Someone rocks your van testing the doors, lights blast on inside. Most people run. They don't know if you're home, they don't know if you've got a baseball bat. The uncertainty is your weapon. Parking strategy matters too. Always nose out. Always. You can see threats approaching through your windshield. You can leave fast if needed. Backing into a spot takes an extra 30 seconds, but those 30 seconds buy you escape options. Dogs deserve mention here. A medium-sized rescue animal provides genuine security and costs nothing from many shelters. Burglars hate dogs. Not because dogs attack, but because dogs bark. Noise attracts attention. Attention ruins crimes. And the weird part? Keeping your van messy actually helps. A tidy interior suggests valuable stuff inside. Clutter scattered across the dashboard looks like there's nothing worth stealing. Professional van dwellers intentionally leave junk visible. Empty coffee cups, old newspapers, poverty camouflage. But all this security means nothing if police keep knocking on your window. There's a whole system for staying legal. Here's the truth. Nobody tells you. Owning a van outright means nothing if you can't prove it's legal. Current registration and valid insurance can turn a 20-minute police interrogation into a 2-minute conversation. Officers run your plates before they even step out of their cruiser. Clean paperwork signals you're not worth the hassle. Expired tags? That's probable cause to dig deeper into your entire situation. But here's where it gets interesting. Some cities actually want to help. Safe parking programs exist in dozens of American cities now. These are designated lots where vehicle dwellers can sleep legally. Churches, nonprofits, even some government agencies run them. You get a spot, sometimes access to bathrooms, and zero fear of that 3 a.m. knock. The catch? Most programs have waiting lists longer than a DMV line on a Friday afternoon. Then there's the address problem. Banks need one. Employers need one. The government definitely needs one. A physical address isn't optional in modern America. P.O. boxes work for some things. Mail forwarding services like Traveling Mailbox provide an actual street address that satisfies most requirements. Costs about $15 monthly. Worth every penny when you need to renew your driver's license. Now, the laws themselves, absolutely bonkers. One city charges $1,000 fines for sleeping in your vehicle, drive 15 miles down the road, and nobody cares. Los Angeles cracks down hard. San Diego runs safe parking programs, same state. Completely different rules. Makes sense, right? Not really. This is why online forums become survival tools. Reddit communities and Facebook groups share real-time updates. Which neighborhoods are safe this week? Which cops are ticketing? Which new ordinances just passed? Knowledge keeps you free. But staying legal is only half the battle. The other half? Building a daily routine that actually works. Van life has a rhythm. And once you find it, the chaos disappears. Most dwellers wake before dawn, not by choice. The sun heats metal boxes fast, and neighbors start noticing parked vans around 7. So you're up, you're driving, and you're at a coffee shop before anyone questions why that white van sat there all night. Coffee shops aren't just about caffeine. They're about Wi-Fi, bathrooms, and looking like a normal person who definitely slept in a bed last night. 1 cup of coffee buys you 2 hours of internet and 0 suspicious glances. Then there's the laundromat ritual. Every few days, you're washing clothes and trading information with other dwellers. Who's cracking down where? Which Walmart kicked someone out? Where the new safe parking lot opened? It's like a neighborhood gossip session, except the neighborhood moves. Maintenance happens weekly. Check the oil, test tire pressure, inspect battery connections. Your van isn't just transportation anymore. It's your bedroom, kitchen, and safety system combined. Breaking down means sleeping outside. Nobody skips maintenance twice. Grocery runs happen every 2 or 3 days. No room for bulk buying when your pantry is a milk crate. You buy what fits. You eat what spoils first. Food waste drops to nearly 0 because wasting food means wasting money and space. Evenings follow strict timing. Park before sunset. Cook while there's light. Set up the bed before darkness makes everything harder. Fumbling with blankets using a phone flashlight gets old fast. Here's what surprised me most. Long-term dwellers say stress actually decreases after about 90 days. The uncertainty becomes routine. The routine becomes automatic. The automatic becomes comfortable. But there's something nobody talks about. What happens when winter truly hits and your whole system gets tested?